If your money keeps ghosting you at the end of the month, it's not you, it's your system. And today we're going to fix the system. We're going to be talking about Ramsey, zero-based budget, you need a budget, Sethi, FIRE, even infinity investing. I'm going to walk you through the 10 most effective spending methods people actually stick with, what they are, who they're for, and the traps to avoid. We'll put them head to head so you can build a simple decision map so that by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one to start with this month. I'll weave in real-world examples, quick wins, and a one-page setup you can even screenshot. Stay with me. The right spending method is like the right pair of shoes. When it fits, you start moving fast. Hey, I'm Toby Mathis. I've been a tax attorney for close to 30 years. I see who makes money and who doesn't, and I share what works with others so you can avoid costly mistakes. For today's video, I'm drawing on my experience, plus I used a bunch of AI to figure out what the best spending strategies were on the internet, and I had them compiled into a top 10 list. So let's start with the big 10. Number 1, Dave Ramsey, zero-based plus envelopes plus baby steps, right? At its core. You give every dollar before the month starts, you give it a job. Use cash envelopes, like you stuff the envelopes literally with cash for the different types of variable spending, and attack debts with something called the debt snowball, where you're attacking the smallest balances first so you get some wins. And this is really best for households craving structure and early wins with debt. Watch outs. This thing can feel rigid. Snowball isn't mathematically optimal versus something like the Avalanche method. Number 2, Ramit, Sethi, which is the conscious spending plan. The core is its automated saving investing to cover fixed costs, then spend money guilt-free on what you love, right? Who doesn't like that? Cut mercilessly on what you don't. You're looking at fixed costs of between 50 and 60%, 10% for investment, 5 to 10% for saving, and 20 to 35% on guilt-free spending. This is stuff that you just, hey, I can spend under this one, right? And this is really best for high earners or busy pros who want flexibility without tracking every line. I get it. The watch outs, it requires honest boundaries. What you love can creep up and swallow all your savings, right? I really love a lot of things. So your money can disappear. It's not as rigid as the others. Number 3, the 50-30-20 rule. And this was written by Elizabeth Warren and her daughter, Amelia Tyagi. Yes, it's that Elizabeth Warren, Senator Warren. She should do it for the government, right? The core, 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% saving, debt payoff. It's best for something for people that want simple, set and forget split that's easy to explain. But here's the watch outs. Housing, things like childcare can blow up the 50% needs cap when you're in an expensive city for sure. And then like, hey, Senator Warren, come on. The government's in $37 trillion in debt. Can you do some help, please, right? Number 4, also on this list is my 70-30 rule, the one from Infinity Investing. And this is more of a spending first with purpose. And at its core, this is what it boils down to. It's 70%, live off of 70%. 10% goes to giving. And by the way, you can move the giving because not everybody's into giving 10%. If you're willing to give time, then take that 10% and move it into investing. 10% goes to debt payoff, which if you pay off all your debts, then it rolls into investing as well. And then 10% to investing. So 70-30 could be 70% what you live off of, 30% that you're investing. But you start it with 70% that you live off of, 10% that you use to pay off debt, 10% that you give, and 10% that goes into investing. Who is this best for? People who want generosity plus debt cleanup plus long-term investing baked in with a realistic spending bucket. Watch outs. You must actually slide the debt 10% into investing after your debts are paid off. So it does require you to actually pay attention to this so you can start reallocating those money. Number 5, FIRE. Financial independence, retire early. At its core, it pushes a savings rate high, often 40 to 70%. You invest steadily towards your financial independent number. Flavors of this include Lean, Coast, Barista, Fat Fire, all these things. You're driving and saving a ton. I tend to shy away for some of these, by the way, because I don't like cutting things. I like growing. I don't want that scarcity mentality. So many people, when they look at a budget and they see income and expenses, they immediately say, well, you got to cut your expenses, as opposed to you need to increase your income. How do you increase your income? You need to have multiple streams of income. But anyway, so this one is best for fire is goal-driven optimizers who can keep expenses low and stay consistent. And then the watch outs, there's lifestyle trade-offs, sequence of return risk, and it's not beginner friendly without a concrete plan. Like this can be, you're just living off of nothing, right? I'm jamming this stuff in. I'm just trying to live in, I always look at dollars. I'm stealing this from a book I recently read, like I think it was Die with Zero, where you think of them as fun coupons, and you're just not having much fun, right? So this type of stuff kind of freaks me out. Number 6, zero-based budgeting, so ZBB, or you need a budget style, right? Every dollar gets a category. Budget only money you already have. Like it's not about money you're going to be making. It's only what do I do with the money I have. You roll with the punches, age your money, use last month's income and things like that. This is really best for people who want total clarity and a living plan that adjusts, it can adjust mid-month because you're allocating the money as it comes in. Watch outs, this is the highest time commitment. Like there's an app on this thing where you can just spend a lot of time in it, at least at first until you start getting some of those habits. But that would be my statement there. Number 7. This is envelope budgeting, which is cash stuffing. And at its core, it's physical or digital envelopes for categories. And then when the envelope is empty, the spending stops. Who is this best for? Overspenders who need limits and instant feedback. Watch out though, this is clunky for online purchases, and too many envelopes equals a lot of chaos. This isn't my flavor. Some of you guys probably love that stuff. Number 8, pay yourself first. This is reverse budgeting, kind of profit first method for people instead of just businesses. Love that, by the way. At its core, you automate a target savings investing rate on payday, and then you spend whatever's left over. So I put the money away, and then I get to spend what's left. And this is best for earners who hate tracking but can commit to a strong savings target. Watch outs, spend the rest, needs guardrails, or lifestyle creep will come in there and eat all your wins. How about the debt avalanche interest rate optimizer? Okay, this is more of a get out of debt strategy, but I get it. You could use this with any of the 50-30-20s, the 70-30s, any of those. At its core, it focuses on paying off the highest annual percentage rate debt first, while paying minimums on the rest. So you attack the highest cost debt first. And this is best for math first minds who want the fastest interest reduction. What are the watch outs? Fewer early wins than snowball. Motivation can dip too. Now let's go to another one. I didn't know this thing even existed, so I started reading about it. It's values based, it's a minimalist, and I think it's Kaikibo. It's another one of these that's kind of envelopes, but at its core, you start with the values and you trim everything that doesn't serve them. Kaikibo adds a written reflection step where you say, do I need this now? So this one is best for people who are seeking mindful spending and long-term satisfaction, not just numbers. Watch outs is it can feel vague without numerical targets. Pair it with a percentage goal would be my statement. Lifestyle creep guardrails. All right, so here's what we put in place so that as I continue to go, that this doesn't come up and smack me in the head as I start making more money. Strong is when you're doing the envelopes, the zero-based budgeting, you need a budget, Ramsey, FIRE, all of those are really good about dealing with lifestyle creep because you're assigning the money as it comes in. But that's a lot of work. Moderate, use my 70-30, the infinity investing 70-30, use the 50-30-20, use the debt avalanche, right? And then weak unless it's automated. These are the ones where I would say like Sethi, pay yourself first. The values, the minimalist. Nah. Now for things that would give you behavioral momentum, then you have like your things like the quick wins would be Ramsey, Snowball. The envelopes is usually satisfying. Like if I'm saying, here's how much money I have to go out with, and it's in a little envelope and I don't have to think much about it. But if you really want to build sustainable habits, I would say any of the ones where you're doing like a 70-30 Sethi and the pay yourself first, anything where you're just saying this is how the money goes. And then if you're just focused on like math efficiency, you're just looking at, hey, how quickly can I retire if I'm saving 50%? Use FIRE. Other ones that are math efficiency, paying off your really expensive debt. So use that debt avalanche. Now, picking one. Here's some practical guidance. Here's some easy ones, right? If debt is crushing you, choose Ramsey for the psychological momentum or Avalanche for the interest efficiency. After those debts are pretty much gone, right, then you could glide into things like the Infinity 70-30 or Sethi for long-term balance. If you are somebody who overspends all the time, then you might want to do the envelopes or something. You're going to spend some more time on these, but the zero-based budgeting, or you need a budget app. This will create instant awareness, right? Because you have to dictate where the money goes. Whatever you choose, run it for 60 to 90 days and then loosen it up. Like find a way to make it work so that it's sustainable. Maybe loosening it up to the 50-30-20 or the 70-30 rule. I find the 70-30, the reason I use it is because it works well from what I've seen for clients. It's very easy intellectually to do this, and most of my clients are givers anyway, so they automatically pay certain things. Like, hey, I know I can take 10% of whatever comes to the door and put it to this. I know I can take 10% and put it there. I can take 10%, throw it over here. Anything beyond that is just like, hey, this is what I spend on a monthly basis, right? If you earn well, but you hate spreadsheets, then things like Sethi or pay yourself first, you just automate that 20-30% and then you let your lifestyle do the rest, right? Hey, if I don't have the money anymore, then you're not spending it. Add a quarterly subscription audit to stop creep. What does that mean? It means you go and you look at all the subscriptions you buy and quarterly get rid of them. And if financial independence is the dream, well, you got that FIRE. You can just, again, be very lean in your spending. Pair it with something like zero-based budgeting for precision, or use Infinity or Sethi, and I will get you, all of them will get you there. Now, if you need generosity baked in, it's something that's part of your ethos, then I would suggest that you use Infinities, which is mine, the 70-30, because it's the only one that puts giving right there on the rails. And we're still knocking down the debt with that 10%, which eventually is going to boost your investing. And I don't see giving as a major component of the other budgeting programs, which is kind of sad, right? So I like to see that. I think it's the secret sauce, frankly. Givers, or at least the people who prioritize giving, seem to do well in the long run. Anecdotally, my wealthiest clients, well, they're all givers. I don't know of any exceptions to that rule. There might be, but for the most part, what I see with thousands of clients is people that give tend to receive. And if you want purpose over pennies, then you think of that values, the minimalist for clarity. Then you can add like a 25% savings target, so it's not airy. Like some of those values ones, it's like I still want numbers. How about starter recipe? How about a balanced starter, low effort? Pay yourself first at 20-25%, and then maybe you're running the 50-30-20, which is 50% on your needs, 30% on your wants, 20% on others. Debt crusher, the zero-based budget plus the debt snowball for 90 days. If you want more efficient, you're going to switch to Avalanche. If you're an investor, that again, my 70-30 is one that works really well. Once debt is 10% or gone, shift it to where I'm putting even more into my investing. Maybe I'm just giving 10% and everything else is going straight in my investing. Anti-creep, if you want to keep lifestyle creep from falling in, digital envelopes for your wants and quarterly subscription purge. Auto increase your savings 1% every quarter, like automatically, so that even if you're getting annual raises, it's already going into the savings without you having to think about it. And one that's not here that I personally like is that whenever you get a raise, use 50% of it towards living expenses and the other half goes straight into investing. It's pretty simple. Again, some of these rules are really easy, but they're effective and it's easy to remember. So like somebody introduced me that years ago. It didn't show up when we were doing all the research on this, but I think it's still important. And let me introduce kind of a problem and a challenge, right? Most people pick a plan that fights their personality. Spreadsheet haters try the zero-based budgeting and stall out. Math first people try the snowball and get annoyed by the interest. Like, why am I paying things off that are really low interest when I could be paying off the higher one? Givers want to be generous but forget to fund their future. And high earners think, I'll invest what's left, which often equals zero because we're so good at spending money. The result, a few intense weeks, then a quiet quit back to the old habits. So let's match methods to real people. I'm just going to tell you like some different cases. How about the overspender with the big heart? Their profile is they have maybe it's a couple, they have a dual income, 2 kids, and you know the type. They have Amazon boxes that multiply at the door, but they really want to give more. And I would say use my 70-30 strategy, maybe with digital envelopes inside the 70s so you're tracking your expenses, you know, and keeps that 10% giving, 10% debt, 10% investing. Automate all of that. Right? And why it works, because it's big, guilt-free spending bucket. Generosity is funded first, so you have a clear conscience, and clear debt focus. We're zapping at things, and then investing shows up in every payday. You start seeing the money that your investing generates, especially if you follow Infinity Investing. You know what I'm talking about. It's a cash flow-based investing, so you start seeing that money too. Case number 2. You know who these people are, the spreadsheet lover with something with 22% annual rate debt, like they got a credit card that they're paying 22%, right? They have an engineer brain, they hate waste, they want math optimal results. I'm just going to say pick something like a zero-based budget plus a debt avalanche, right? Why it works, because it gives you total clarity on cash flow. Laser on the highest annual percentage rate, credit cards, clear monthly wins measured in how much interest you are saving, boom, you're very, very happy. And by the way, it's not lost on me that engineers were the #1 category for millionaires in the United States as far as all professions. If you're able to do that, more power to you. If you can do that and you love them spreadsheets, zero-based budget plus that avalanche, that's very effective. Not everybody's like that though. Case number 3, the high earner with no time. Like, again, they're working their butt off all the time. They're flying all over the place. So they're long hours, they have great income, inconsistent tracking. They probably do like sports on the weekends whenever they do get time off. They're doing stuff that they like because they're working so hard. And what I would say, the easiest pick is the pay yourself first at 25 to 30%. Hey, I'm putting this towards me. You could still use the 70-30, that's really easy, or Sethi's conscious spending with automated investing, plus a short lift of your love it category. So if you like doing the sports, then you could do that. Why it works? Because automation handles savings. Guilt-free fund protects your sanity, and it's minimal time and overhead. That's what you want if you're way, way, way busy. You want to just have it automated so you're not having to spend a bunch of time on it. Case number 4 is if you are a fire or die optimizer. You're somebody you just want to retire now, right? It thrives on dashboards. People who want operational, something that is right now, I can immediately see it. You could do fire plus a zero-based budget for precision if that's what you need. But a lot of you guys, it's just cutting all your savings. And why it works? Because that high savings rate is the driver. The zero-based budget keeps the rate honest. Rebalancing schedule keeps risk in check. So you're always looking at it, and you are just dumping money aside. Like, so you see it and you start feeling good. Your investment account might get woo, 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 woo. You get some immediate gratification from that. Case number 5, newlyweds merging their money together. Now, in this particular case, they have different money styles, and they're worried about getting into fights. What I would say is pick something like this, the 50-30-20 for 6 months, then graduate up to maybe 70-30 once you guys have a little more trust and there's rhythms that form. Then maybe you could start adding in more of the investing side. Now, why it works? Because it's easy language, low friction, and it buys you time to align your values, which you're going to have to do if you are newlyweds. You're going to have to figure out how your values align around money. So I created a simple form with a summary of the methods discussed that you guys can have for free. I'll put it in the show notes. All you got to do is download it. It's a little PDF. All I ask is that you put in the comments which spending methods you've used, which you've liked, and why, if you've tried them out or if you know somebody. And then in the meantime, here's an easy decision matrix to help you decide which method might work for you. So here, all you have to do, answer the following. Do you need fast debt wins? Yes. Then start with Ramsey, the snowball, or the Avalanche. Do that for 90 days. No. Go on to the next question. I don't need that. Do you hate tracking? Yes. Then do pay yourself first at 20 to 30% or Sethi, right? Do not do the zero-based budgeting or you need a budget or the 50, 20, 30, depending on your time, right? If you are okay with those, then just keep going on. Do you need generosity baked in? Because if you do, there's really only one option, which is my 70-30. I don't know why that is, but you do 10% to giving, 10% towards knocking down your debt, and 10% to invest, right? And then roll them in. If you stay with your choice, but add a windfall rule, like, hey, I want to have an 80% invest and a 20% for fund. What if financial independence is your number one priority? Then you already know that FIRE plus a zero-based budget, man, I'm targeting like 40 to 60% savings. If that's not important, then try to keep it at 20, 30%, automate it, grow it at 1% a quarter. Now, what if you are somebody who chronically overspends? Then I'm going to say you probably want to have envelopes. At least envelopes for wants. Keep your needs on auto pay, right? So have the stuff that you need to pay process automatically, and then here's the stuff. Maybe it's an account where I can spend what I want, but I'm just horrible at overspending. Then make sure you're just using that account and don't use credit cards. Now go in and proceed and review this stuff monthly and lock in your first 30 days. See what your method that you like based on the map. Pick it. Automate your top priority, investing, debt, or giving, whatever it is. Name your accounts to match the plan, like say, this is my debt attack, or I am really investing, or I want my guilt-free money, or I want to do infinity, and then just review it every 30 days to adjust the percentages. And when you are doing adjustments, like if it's just off 1 or 2% max, you don't do huge swings, right? And then here's my final takeaways. Budgets don't build wealth. Systems do. Pick the system that fits your personality. If you need discipline and quick wins, Ramsey and envelopes are probably your friend. You want flexibility and results, Sethi, pay yourself first. You want a clear, friendly split, then the 50, 30, 20. If you want generosity to kill debt and investing all in one place, my 70-30 works. And remember that that debt, once you're done with it, rolls right into investing. So it's going to end up probably being a 70, 20, 10. You want the math optimal payoff. Avalanche is probably going to be your gig. You want total control and you want live updates, then invest in the zero-based budgeting, or you need a budget app. Want financial freedom faster than anything else? Then you're going to do FIRE with a measured plan. And you want your money to follow meaning, then you want your money to follow meaning, then you could do the values, the minimalist, paired with a percentage target so that you have something concrete to base it off. Whatever you choose, automate it on payday. Add a windfall rule. Guard against lifestyle creep. And review once a month for 10 minutes. No guilt, just adjustments. And by the way, if you like this stuff, like and subscribe. Leave your comments below. If you want an easy call to action you can follow, I made a video a couple years back that has millions of views, by the way. It's called 3 Steps to Build a Passive Income Empire. Watch it next to turn your invest bucket into simple, repeatable investment streams or income streams. Multiple streams of income. That's the secret. Good luck, guys.